Hello everyone, welcome back to the Spooky Noodles podcast. It's the first episode in a while, and man am I glad to be back. Today we'll be covering the story of SCP-027, also known as the Vermin God. Thank you to author Quikngruvn for writing this tale. I picked this SCP thanks to its interesting name, but anyways, what is the Vermin God? Item number SCP-027. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The host of SCP-027, currently Subject 27-2, is to be kept in a 5 meter by 5 meter containment cell with graded, raised floor connected to a strong vacuum system. All creatures removed from the subject's containment cell are to be incinerated except for a small portion who are to be diverted for analysis and necropsy. The cell is to be cleaned and inspected for structural damage daily. Subject 27-2 must be monitored by at least 2 personnel at all times. Any unusual behavior or vital signs on the part of the subject or the appearance of any unusual species in the subject's vicinity must immediately be reported to Level 4 personnel. Security personnel assigned to SCP-27 must be inoculated against all well-known animal-borne pathogens and must be armed with tranquilizer guns, with standing orders to subdue the subject if the need arises. Until SCP-27 is better understood, no personnel Level 4, clearance or higher, should approach within 200 meters of the subject. Description: SCP-27 appears to be a phenomenon of unknown source that seems to be tied to one human subject, currently 27-2 at a time. As host to SCP-27, Subject 27-2 is constantly surrounded by swarming vermin that are drawn to his location. The subject does not appear able to assert control over these creatures in any way, and is in fact prone to occasional attacks from feral specimens. These creatures have also been known to attack personnel who approach too closely. Wherever the subject goes, an initial swarm of flying insects such as gnats and flies will start to form a cloud around him, usually within 2 to 3 minutes. Shortly thereafter, crawling animals including lice, cockroaches, worms, spiders, mice, and rats will begin to appear. The longer the subject remains in a location, the more vermin will gather there. When the subject leaves the location, some of these creatures will follow, but most will disperse. SCP-27 has been known to transfer between hosts once, upon the death of the first known host, Subject 27-1. See Appendix 1 for more information. Since 27 could likely repeat this feat upon the death of 27-2, all high-value personnel should be kept far away from the current host until more about SCP-27 is understood. 27 has also likely transferred between hosts an unknown number of times before containment. Research into potential previous hosts has commenced, with preliminary evidence suggesting that 27 may have existed for at least years. It is not yet known how SCP-27 chooses or attracts animals, or even what SCP-27 exactly is. Previous hosts never expressed having any sort of communication with a separate conscious entity. Analysis of the current host has been inconclusive at best. Appendix 1 Timeline of Significant Events 04//1990. Subject 27-1 is discovered in an abandoned warehouse outside that has been completely overrun by rats, cockroaches, and other vermin, and is contained and cataloged as SCP-27. The subject is described as a Caucasian male in his late 30s, of average height, but gaunt, filthy, and covered in bites and scratches. The subject also shows symptoms of degraded mental health, evidence of heavy use of alcohol and illicit drugs, and signs of prolonged sleep deprivation. 10//2000 Subject expires. Autopsy shows more than 70% of the subject's body. A colony of rats nesting in the subject's abdomen for at least generations. 10//2000. Between 140 and 150 hours after the subject's death, Security Officer K.F. reports being awoken by breathing problems due to a large housefly having crawled up his nose, later shown to have laid eggs. Subsequent observations led to categorization of Officer F as Subject 27-2. The original host is reclassified as Subject 27-1, and SCP-27 is redefined. Appendix 2 Transcript of interview 27-01. The following interview was conducted on 10//2000. Shortly after subject 27-2 was identified and transferred to the containment cell that had housed subject 27-1. Dr. Jameson. Good morning, officer. How are you feeling? Subject 27-2. Scared. Confused. Mostly scared, though. Understandable. And itchy. I feel like I need to shower all the damn time. But what about, inside? Do you feel anything different inside you? Like a presence? No, I don't think I do. I haven't really noticed anything like that. You haven't felt anything different since the original host died? Besides the itching? No, I can't say I have. What about any sorts of voices or compulsions? No, I haven't felt anything except bugs crawling all over me. I feel dirty, scared. And Doc, what about my family? You gotta get this thing out of me so I can see them again. Of course. Of course. We're going to do everything we can to get 27 out of you. God, I'm so sorry, Kay. Note: shortly after this interview took place, Dr. Jameson and several other members of the research team for SCP-027 were transferred to the 1772 project. This SCP is genuinely scary. I can only imagine how terrifying it would be to be surrounded by unending swarms of vermin. If you enjoyed that story, please consider sticking around for more. Next time we will be covering some folk horror. Our sources are linked in the show notes. If you've got any suggestions or tips for our future episodes, please contact us at our email spookynoodlespod@gmail.com or at our Twitter @spookynoodles. Your feedback is greatly appreciated. Make sure to keep your taste for horror alive by watching the next episode of Spooky Noodles on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or YouTube. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.